to look at case studies and see how this affects other teachers in the classroom. What experiences have they had? How can they learn from each other? So.
Yeah. So are there certain ideas that teachers who are teaching maybe 1 through 6 have to understand, and maybe when they get older, is there any sort of difference?
Sure.
Some different ideas that they have to understand?
Yeah, there's definitely differences, and that's why with this course, I have an incredible book that we're using for it. It's really great, and it really looks into the curricular differences that is needed for each of these different areas, and then how trying to figure out the best way to explain this. So for, and I think I said this a little bit earlier, so for younger students, you're looking more at your environment, you're looking more at books that you have in your classroom, and then incorporating it into kind of the more holistic philosophy of education itself, right? And you're doing that at older grades as well, but then you're looking at very specific curricular needs. So an English literacy class, say you're not just looking at straight white male authors. You're incorporating some LGBT authors in there. You're incorporating some trans women of color authors in there. So you're looking at kind of how you do that at different levels in that way.
So with high schoolers, is there any sort of different approach? I know it's a tougher time for kids in general, but is there anything that a teacher has to go into the day knowing, or how to be more inclusive for high schoolers, I guess? Because it's a tougher time.
Yeah, I think understanding levels of bullying, I think understanding suicide rates, I think understanding and knowing the levels of microaggressions that a high school student can experience on a day-to-day basis, and how that affects their whole day. So something they experienced at 8 a.m. might affect them at 1 p.m, and it might not look like it's directly related to your class, but they may have experienced something earlier. So kind of noticing and recognizing those sorts of things in your students.
So what is the biggest...
And that works for K-12 as well. It's just kind of looking at it at sort of a different level. Yeah.
What is the biggest thing that you want your students to come away from the class with? What is the one thing that, if anything, they learn, the one thing they...
I want them to feel more comfortable addressing both their students. I want them to feel energized that they that they have ideas that they can incorporate into their classroom to create an inclusive environment. And I want them to feel confident in engaging with any sort of difficult conversation that might come up when confronting an issue, when helping a student confront an issue.
Right. Is there anything else that you want to add about this class?
I'm super excited to teach it, and that I think it's part of a series of courses that we're going to be starting to offer here in the Center for Professional Studies around the idea of equity. So we started with a cultural competency course. This course is, there's actually been 2 levels of that. This is the follow-up course to that. Hoping to take this course and then transform it into potentially an all online format as well. And then also transforming it into not just education, but beyond, looking at other businesses or different areas that might need this sort of cultural competency training. For instance, right now we are doing a cultural competency course for local real estate agents, and so that's happening in a few weeks, and so this is going to be part of that series of equity courses that we're going to be offering. So it's an exciting time here in the CPS.